What's up, people? It's Ison back again with another video, and today is my review of the iPhone 14 Pro Max, a long-term review. The iPhone 14 Pro Max was released 5 months ago, back in September, and since then, lots of updates and lots of things has happened with this phone. So I want to tell you all about it right now. So let's start with the design and the build. The iPhone 14 Pro Max is built very well, and it's a very luxury kind of phone, luxury materials, and it's very beautiful. Even when you see it, very distinctive from other phones. You can tell that it's an iPhone from a distance and all that. So it's made of stainless steel. Stainless steel is actually stronger than aluminum, which you see on other phones. So Apple used stainless steel, although it made it a little kind of heavier than other phones, of similar size. But then the build material is, I'll take the build material any day. You understand? So also it's very similar to the 12 Pro Max, the 13 Pro Max, and all that. But if it's good, you need to keep it, with the design. And so the design is very good. It's IP68 dust and water resistant as well. And the stainless steel, barely any scratch. If you use it without the case, you barely get any scratch on the stainless steel frame, but the front display obviously can get scratched up easily. You understand, the ceramic shield, because it's very durable, so it makes the scratch resistance very low. Also, like the ports, the similar place, the mute switches at the same place, volume up and down on the left side, the power button on the right side, ports and the speakers under, as well as the lightning port, which we are begging Apple to change to USB-C. Hopefully they change to USB-C this year. It's about time. The back, triple camera, Apple design, so the ultra wide angle camera, the telephoto camera, as well as the main camera, which is 48 megapixel now, as opposed to 12 megapixel finally, and the Apple logo, So that is it for the design and the display, and the design and the build. So what about the display? Well, the 14 Pro Max come with a Super Retina XDR, OLED display with 120 Hz of refresh rate, and the resolution is like 2796 by 1290 pixel per inch of 460. The names of this display are getting long though, but then it's a very nice display, very bright display. At least this is the brightest display on the market now. It can get to 2000 nits of brightness. So no display comes close, and if you go outdoor, you can clearly see it outside. Although the 2000 nits, once it hits that peak, it can be in 2000 nits for maybe like 1 minute, then it dims back. So because of the performance of the phone, and gets hot when it gets to 2000 nits, but still very good display, very vibrant display as well. More accurate, although not as vibrant as like the Samsung Galaxy S23 series, but it's very vibrant. And also Samsung makes the same display. They are the best in the game when it comes to display, and that's why I see they are the one that make this display for Apple. Excellent display. And also with the display comes the mighty dynamic island, which is it's very beautiful. The dynamic island, although it covered a lot of this, like good amount of the upper part of the screen, you understand. So but the functionality for me, it's worth it. It houses the Face ID, as well as like notification pop-up and all that it does on the phone, so I can live with that. So very good. Also with the display comes the always on display, which we've been begging Apple to bring to iPhones, and finally they brought it on the 14 Pro Max. So the always on display is very good, and they came with their own method of always on display, which you can put widgets on your always on display, which is also a very nice touch. So display is good, superb, and held up very well. So now let's talk about the cameras. Well, the 14 Pro Max have triple cameras on the back: the 48 megapixel main camera, 12 megapixel ultra wide camera, as well as the 3x telephoto camera. Also on the front, you have a 12 megapixel autofocus camera. Right now, the 12 megapixel has autofocus. So the cameras, with iPhone, their camera are very reliable, very consistent across the three cameras. You can shoot the ultra wide to the main camera to the telephoto camera. The colors will remain the same, as well as the just same kind of vibe it will give you. There's no like color shifting and all that. Colors are very good, as well as details. You know, the cameras are very good, reliable. The details are very good, excellent. Then the pictures are kind of too contrast, as well as the dynamic range. Apple have these issues with dynamic range for their pictures, their photos. So they still have not fixed this problem. It was present on the 13 Pro Max as well as the 12 Pro Max. It still have dynamic range issues yet. Not all the time. Sometimes it shoots very well, but many a times you have highlights clipping and blowing out the sky. It's something that is known with the iPhone camera. I don't know why they have not fixed that yet. But outside that, the picture quality, you will be happy with the picture quality, because this is a luxury brand and the phone is very expensive. Of course, it better be good with the picture quality. The portrait mode is very nice as well. I love the portrait mode. It's very beautiful, especially on human subject. So guys, this is testing the cinematic mode on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. This year, Apple has increased the quality from 1080p. Now cinematic mode can shoot 4K, which is very good and a very good addition. So how does it look? Edge detection, turning around, and how can it separate? They are trying to, mirror like the mirrorless cameras and all that. So, doing a good job? Tell me. Then when it gets to video, that is where you have to give them their crown. With videos, Apple, they kill it in the game. Their videos are very good, and it continues with the 14 Pro Max. Super videos, 4K 60 FPS. It can shoot RAW as well with excellent dynamic range. So the thing that they can't do for their photo, they overdo it on the video side of this. They have the best dynamic range on any video, on a video on any smartphone, period. You understand? So their videos are very good. Very, very good. So overall with the camera, I'm satisfied. Outside those little thin quirk that I pointed out, with the dynamic range and the too contrasty stuff. Outside that, excellent camera, and I recommend it anytime. So let's talk software and performance. This is the big deal for Apple. So when it comes to software, the iPhone 14 Pro Max is running iOS 16.3 right now, although when it was released, it was running iOS 16. When it was released, iOS 16 was kind of buggy on the 14 Pro Max, but with lots of updates now, up until 16.3, it's usable now. It's okay. Less, jittery right now. It's smooth, and all that. So the animation with iOS, the best thing I love about iPhone is the animation. They do it the best, The animations are very fluid, and with the whole dynamic island touch now, there's a specific engine dedicated to dynamic island, and it works very well the way they execute the animation, the bouncy animation and all that. It's very fluid all together. So also the lock screen, when they launched iOS 16, there's this lock screen customization now, which you can put different profiles of different pictures and wallpapers that you want, and also customize the always on display and the lock screen. Lots of customization for the iOS 16 lock screen. The lock screen customization is among the best in the business right now, which is a very good addition to Apple, which have lots of limitations with customization. There are lots of things you cannot do with iPhone yet. Still no split screen multitasking. The keyboard still does not have a number roll on it, and some shortcomings that you have with the iPhone. But hopefully with iOS 17 they add something new again, because it's the OS is very locked in terms of the ability to do lots of things. The ecosystem as well, you cannot talk about iOS and not talk about the ecosystem. So if you have the AirPods Pro, their Apple Watch, their iPads, their MacBook Pros or MacBook series, they work seamlessly. And in terms of how they interact with each other, they did very well. Although, you can get someone like Samsung now doing almost as good as Apple, but in terms of their fluidity and how they interact with each other, Apple still do it the best. Also, the speaker on this is very good. The speaker is best or among the best in the business, so I love the speakers on this very well. How about performance? Well, we're talking about A16 Bionic chip. iPhone has been leading the whole pack when it comes to performance. There's no difference here. So it's very fast. So you can use this to perform lots of tasks, like push this to the limit, yet it will not get hot. And that is why it has a very good battery life, because no matter how hard you push this phone, the performance will still be up there while the phone will still be relatively cool. And what about the battery life of the iPhone 14 Pro Max? Well, the battery life, I easily get 8 to 9 hours of screen on time on this. You know, when it came out new, the battery life of the 13 Pro Max was better than the 14 Pro Max. But with the iOS 16.3 update, I don't know what Apple have done to this, so the battery is practically on par with the 13 Pro Max, because I'm using the 13 Pro Max as well. So when it comes to battery life, you know, there's actually no problem for me. The battery is very reliable, can get through a day easily, enter through the next day. So, and I'm a heavy user actually, so I can get through a day and the next day, maybe like half day of the next day, before I would think about charging. So that is it for my, you know, review, like long-term review of the 14 Pro Max. So what are the limitations, you know, coming from a guy that has been practically using, you know, Samsung phones for years. So I think the things I would really want Apple to fix with their software, mostly it has to be with their software mostly, and that's the limitations that, you know, they have lots of limitations on their software, you know, lots of limitations like no split screen multitasking. You cannot arrange your icons wherever you want them to be on the home screen. We need lots of freedom on this phone, and you know, it's simple and complex at the same time. You know, the whole way that I love the way when you open your phone, it's always arranged. The icons and everywhere, they are organized very well. That is one simple thing I love about it. But then there are some complex things as well with iPhone in terms of the gestures. You know, sometimes you swipe left to go back, sometimes you have to swipe from up to go back, you know, and sometimes you just have to go and click back to go back and all that. So it's, and as well as the applications, you know, the application settings, and you know, they are, you know, mixed. Sometimes you want to look for just a display settings, you go to the display settings, you can't find it. You have to go to accessibility for you to find that display setting that they are looking for. So it's kind of simple and complex at the same time. That's the best way for me to explain, you know, the software experience for you guys in terms of the limitations. So Apple should, you know, do better with their software, you know, in terms of opening it more and make it more flexible, you know, for users to you know, for Android, to get more Android users. That's the best way to put it for you. Other than that, you know, perfect phone. I love it. That's it. More videos coming. I have lots of more videos that I'll shoot with the 14 Pro Max. For instance, I'll compare the 14 Pro Max to the S22 Ultra, you know, with the camera comparison. I'll do camera comparison, I'll do battery life as well, and maybe speed test comparison. So be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss, you know, the videos that I'm going to put out the next couple of weeks. So until next time, I'll catch you guys.